our co-hosts, Paul Hollis and the host, Frank Fiore. Frank, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing real well.
All right, AI. So this is going to be simple, Frank. You and I introduced you a lot to AI, didn't I, Frank, at the beginning, didn't I? And now
Yes,
you're becoming this AI extraordinary, right, Frank?
yes. I just kind of poo-pooed AI for a while, and you showed me what it could be done, how what could be done with it, and I use it now in my writing. It's not I have original ideas, but one of the things I used to do that I found really fascinating was that I would pay authors or writers to punch up a story. I'd write the story, and they say punch it up, okay? But now I'm using AI for that. And AI would take what I've written and punch it up, give it little nice little words and things like that. And believe me, it works very well. I don't use all of it because AI gets a little bit too flurry with their words. But that's how I use it now. And it's great.
We have a tech entrepreneur, Matt Rosen, joining us from Dallas. And your company is called, what is the company called, Matt?
It's called Aleda.
Aleda. I was making sure. And this is an interesting thing before I get you started. A new survey this week by Graduates Management and Mission Council found 26% of employers look for AI skills in hiring business graduates. It may be the key to getting hired. Well, that's still not enough, in my opinion, Matt. But that really says you better wake up and smell the roses like Frank did and build AI skills, right?
That's absolutely right. I mean, AI is here to stay. There's no putting our head in the sand and ignoring it. So it's either like all technology revolutions, embrace it or get left behind. And so we're actually requiring everyone in our consulting firm. We've got about 350 people globally to get trained up in AI skills, and our clients are demanding it. And so what we're doing is helping many of our clients who are large corporations really understand how AI is changing the game for them, helping them trial it out in their environments. And so we're requiring 100% of our employees, including me, to get trained in AI and use it in our daily lives.
All right, Frank. And I have a question about training in AI after Frank's question. Go, Frank.
Where do you think is going to be the biggest impact of AI? The largest impact? What industry? What use?
That's a great question. Anything where, yeah, I think about the three things AI does well today. It automates tasks, it creates insights, scanning vast amounts of content, and it can create. I think in any type of routine work, think paralegals, think call center agents. I think those jobs are at serious risk because AI is going to be able to do those things for you. But there's a lot of fields that aren't going to be impacted. I mean, medicine, the trades, consulting, what we do. I don't think, talk show radio hosts are going anywhere anytime soon. So I think there's a lot of jobs out there that are safe. AI is a tool. I mean, we had the internet, we had the smartphone, there are revolutions before that, like the assembly line. Some jobs went away and new jobs were created. And this, like every other revolution, is going to create a whole field of new jobs around AI and the management of the technology and the care and feeding of the models. It's just going to be different. And so we as a society are going to have to evolve with it. But man, it's moving super fast. Every week, people are churning out new models. So it's challenging to keep up, I think, for a lot of people and businesses.
Well, Matt, before I go to the question I wanted to ask, you just led me to another one. And when you look at specifically enough, it's an enhancement for consultants. It's an enhancement for podcasters. It's an enhancement for doctors because we're going about to see in the models that are going to come out. One of the guests on my show, literally, there's going to be an AI bot that does the whole, even to the medical exam, taking the information before the doctor comes in. So it's definitely going to be an enhancement that's going to take the jobs around that. Paralegals are not going to have to do as much work, and who knows how long. You mentioned these different things, and it's an enhancement first. That means if you're a consultant and not learning AI, you're going to lose because then
Absolutely.
you're going to be a fool because you're not going to have what the latest information is. You're going to be looking like, oh, yeah, go ahead and try this. Well, have you gone through? I'll give you an example. I just, for one of my clients, we just built an Amazon store, and I watched YouTube University, and I said, this is taking too long. I just went in, asked Gemini, because here's the thing, guys. Remember, ChatGPT will give you a certain amount of information, but it ultimately won't give you all the information because it doesn't go up to the present day. always count on Gemini if it's something with keywords or different things to plug in, because they're Google and they know it all. And so I asked, can you teach me how to, build an Amazon store? Great. Gave me the steps. Can you tell me the top 50 keywords to put into my Amazon store? Boom, it did it. But I gave it input. I gave it the whole information of the company, all the different things involved. So I would hire a consultant now and say, okay, here's our results. Here's where we're going with this company as the CMO of this company I'm working with. What do I do next? But at least I've hit all those steps where I bring more knowledge than somebody that usually you had to be specialized. Specialization's going to change as well. Wouldn't you agree about that?
I would. It really comes down to problem solving skills. And when it comes to these AI models, data is really the differentiator. It's kind of what you put into it is what you get out of it. And so really that's a lot of what we're doing is helping get our clients ready for what are we going to actually feed these models to help solve the business problems you're looking to solve. But it is going to become table stakes. I mean, literally every one of my developers is using some form of AI to help them code. And the ones that are embracing it, they're literally churning out 50% more than they were prior to, because it just helps build some fundamental things that they frankly don't enjoy coding. Some of the plumbing and the basics and some of the tests that have to run against code, all that, can be generated automatically. So what you're going to see is those that embrace it are going to be much more productive. And I've got a saying, this AI is not coming for your job, but someone using AI is coming for your job.
Go ahead, Frank.
We're told that this AI takes a lot of memory, a lot of computational time. Is there an upper limit?
So that's a good question. What they're trying to do, these models have gotten larger and larger and larger. And what they do is they take a lot of compute power. And, a lot of these models are hosted like the hyperscalers, the Amazons, the Microsofts of the world. And by the way, they also consume a lot of power. And so that's going to be another challenge we're going to run into, is just having enough power to supply all these AI models. So what you see some of the bigger players doing is trying to make the models a little bit smaller. I think you're going to see models get smaller. I think they're going to get more specialized. I also think the chips are going to get better. NVIDIA's original chip was designed for graphics. It was actually not designed for the neural networking that AI does. And so what you're seeing is, Intel and Taiwan Semiconductor and a lot of these others trying to race NVIDIA to create better chips to optimize the way AI actually works, because the chips we've had today were not designed for the LLMs. So I think you're going to see models get smaller. I think you're going to see chips get faster, but there is going to be a drain on power that we're going to have to deal with. It's kind of this convergence of a lot of different things happening at once.
Go ahead, Paul, with your question, because I always want to throw you one.
Hi, Matt. I'm actually retired IBM, so I'm totally on board with you and what you're saying. It's a fascinating industry, and I love that you said that someone using AI is going to take your job, not AI, which is absolutely perfect, and that's the right thing to do. So more power to you. Yeah, I don't have a real question for you, but keep going, keep talking.
Now, so Matt, where I would jump is training. If your consultants, what do they do, and what kind of training you're taking them through?
Yeah, so it's a good question. There's a LinkedIn course that we had everybody start with, and I'm happy to send that out to you all or any of your followers.
Please email it to me. Definitely.
Yeah, we had to do that, but then we create a lot of our own internal training and a lot of our own bots. But if you just want to access some of the free stuff out there, if you go out to Google, they've got a great amount of resources. And then LinkedIn has a good course as well for some just base level knowledge of like how these models actually work. And then obviously if you're using, Office 365, they've got the Copilot, and I think that's really helpful. It can embed inside of Outlook and PowerPoint and Excel, whatever you use. I think that's just a good way to get started. Obviously, as you get more advanced, there's other sites out there, and you think about, Anthropic and Claude, and then you've got lots of interesting generators like Runway, which are pretty cool. And each one of them has some good tools and training around them. But I'll happily send you out the LinkedIn training that we had everybody start with.
I love to take that. And this is the thing that you got to keep educating yourself. As I said, I learned to build an Amazon store today. Tonight, I'm going to learn how this certain funnel system that one of my clients is implementing that wants my team to take care of after that. So I learn these things and I say, holy cow, but you got to keep learning. This is the big thing that has changed in the past 2 years. If you're not willing to grow and learn, you're done. You're finished. It's over. And that's where the jobs will go. You're right. Somebody with AI or a company, an agency like mine for social media podcasting and, and some of the SEO and running ads or all these different things. If we don't continue to innovate while the other ones are just pretending, we'll take them out because we'll have already the answers right there for you. So when you talk about code, what do you mean by code? Because again, I found out listening to Neil Patel and Eric Sue's Marketing School podcast that there are AI engineers making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
What do you mean by code now? So like, what is code? Like, I understand input output. You got ChatGPT 4, you got Google Gemini, you got Meta's program. I use particularly ChatGPT 4 for certain marketing skills, while I ultimately go to Gemini when it comes to really keyword research and things like that, because I just think they're smarter because they have more information. But when you're getting your people trained in this specific area, what do you mean by code?
And I'm talking about code specifically. So like as a firm, what we do is everything from tech strategy to product design to, custom development to data and analytics. And then AI is kind of infused across all those service offerings. And so when I'm talking about code, I'm talking about writing .NET Core code in Azure, or I'm talking about AWS Lambdas. I'm talking about custom functionality that we're building for a client that's either like a revenue generating software platform or something that provides them operational excellence. So they're building something you can't buy off the shelf. And so our developers are using something like a Visual Studio.net, and they're using, the GitHub or the Copilot within that to help them generate code more quickly and to develop tests against the code more quickly. So when I say code, I'm talking about, programming and,
Developer stuff.
core languages for Microsoft or Amazon, because our clients are half and half between those.
I guess it gives an opportunity for somebody that doesn't know how to read code to be able to do some more work than they could before with AI.
Oh, you can absolutely go into a model and have it generate you a small application. And a lot of engineers are doing that today. The challenge is not everything that generates is right. Just like the the text it generates isn't always right. The code
or the pictures. Oh,
yeah,
don't get me started with DALL-E. DALL-E, and and one of my clients wants me to always create it in DALL-E, my team, and I'm like, it drives me nuts because I hand it over to the graphic designers after I type it in, and I'm like, okay, I don't want text. And that's where AI is still far behind.
Yeah.
You got to it's going to end up being the people that really can dive deep in AI. Last question, that are going to be successful. The ones that are going to really go under the hood and they're going to test it out and they're going to treat it like it's iRobot, like it's C3PO, like it's somebody like that. If you don't treat it like that, you're not going to have a good program because you got to give it information for it to give you great output.
Yep. As I said, data is the differentiator, and we're seeing that across all our clients. And so we're hosting a bunch of roundtables around the country in our offices, meeting with like IT leaders to share with them where it's going. It's really interesting. Very few have really done much other than play with it. Meanwhile, you've got probably 50 to 75% of their staff that's using it every day behind the scenes and playing with these different models. And so, we've yet to really see widespread corporate adoption outside of Silicon Valley, outside of maybe the life sciences realm and banking for fraud. But I think you're going to see it get used across a lot of industries. The big thing is right now it's kind of a hammer looking for a nail. So it's really incumbent upon organizations to figure out what problem am I really trying to solve, because AI is just another way to solve it. But the people that are using it and getting productive with it and staying ahead of it are going to be the ones and the companies that are most successful in the future.
All right, Frank, last question for Matt.
I want to get into AI is very intellectual. What about emotions? How about how is AI going to handle emotions? Because I keep raising that question because that's another part of humanity, of a human being. Has anyone looked at that and say, I know if you give AI some real questions, they're very polite. What happened with the response? But how do you get any emotion out of it?
I don't think you really are. I mean, at the end of the day, it's ones and zeros. Could emotions be tracked to ones and zeros? I do know there's some AI models that can like look at people's faces and make a judgment call on whether they're happy, sad, angry. But to date, all these LLMs do is they predict what word comes next or what image comes next. OpenAI is working on a new model that's based on a concept called Q-learning. Their codename Strawberry, where it's going to do some basic reasoning where it kind of has some idea what's happening out in the world. but I think we're a long way away from these AIs actually showing real emotion. You can ask an AI model to talk in a certain tone. Like if you were to go into ChatGPT today, you could say, hey, write me a story that's really scary, or make this scary, or make this kind of funny. And so it can mimic it a bit, but it's not like the emotions that we as humans feel. And I think we're a really long way from AI being able to do that.
All right,
you
best place we
think-
can find information, because we do have to go because we have another guest, Frank. Definitely, Matt, best place we can find info. We got to have you on again for sure.
Awesome. I enjoyed being here. You can look at my website. It's www.allata. That's ALLATA.com. You can also hit me up on LinkedIn at Matt Rosen. You can find me there as well. I'd love to hear from anyone. And thank you so much for having me on the show. Great questions. Enjoyed the discussion.
All right. All right. That was a special.